Ahoy mateys, Captain Jack Scrapper here. Today is February 4, 2020 and it's about 11:30 in the morning. This is a follow-up. Yesterday I went and got parts. I took a couple hours searching and making phone calls and finally found the parts and went and got the parts and came back home and went to install the parts. I pulled the rack out of the furnace. Wrong parts, or at least one part was wrong. The other one was universal, so no big deal. The flame sensor, those are pretty much universal, but not the igniters. But I gave them my model number and all this and that, and they gave me the igniter, and I knew that's what I needed because I had tested only through the wires on the igniter that was on the furnace, but I did not pull the rack out at that time. I just tested it and said, okay, I needed an igniter. The flame hot surface igniter is what it's technically called. So I got it, brought it home like I said, and yeah, it's wrong. So no heat last night, and it's getting colder. It's warmer in the truck right now than it is at the house. But it'll be alright. I made some calls. I got the actual number off the flame igniter itself, and I looked that up. I'm like, oh my gosh, $100 less expensive than the one that they sold me yesterday. I paid $136 for the one they sold me yesterday, only to find out that it's wrong. But they also told me that, because I said, well, what if this is wrong? Well, too bad. Once it's out the door, there is no returning it. Huh. Seems kind of shitty. So now I'm going to Godwin Hardware. I may have to do this in 2 or 3 parts, or piece it together on Filmora. I know you people kind of like, some of you anyways, like to drive around with me in the Grand Rapids and Sparta area. So we're going to do that. We're going to go to Godwin. They got the part. I'm just going to talk to them because I've known a lot of those guys for years and years and years. Hey, maybe they'll give me wholesale price on the igniter, that wasn't right for me. Push comes to shove, I'll put it on eBay. Maybe Midwest Picker. Keep that one in mind. Midwest Picker. Good channel. If you want to learn how to do eBay, there's your go-to, man. I'm starting to learn. I haven't read everything up on it yet, but I'm going to watch more of his videos. Oh, and he's got some scrap for me that I'm going to pick up one of these days. He lives in Sparta. It's kind of cool. And then this morning, all of a sudden, I got a comment on my latest video from one of my Facebook friends. He is now subscribed, and he's got scrap for me. He is also from Sparta. So part of the series of videos, that's probably how it'll be today. Part of the series of videos today will be myself picking up the scrap at his house. That's if he says it's okay today. I think he will. Yeah. So, they always say it's not a real job unless you've been to the hardware store 3 times. I hope I don't jinx myself. I hope this is the last time. I should have went to Godwin Plumbing in the first place. That was part of my mistake. I forgot that they sold furnace parts. And they probably would have, well, maybe they might have made the same mistake. I don't know. I mean, the guy looked at all of my model number and all that up on the computer, showed me. He says, here's what it looks like. He says, I've never seen one that looks like that before. I said, I never have either. Excuse me. But anyways, we are currently on the corner of West River Drive and North Park. There's a little tiny parking lot here. I never see anybody in it. But it might be, it may have been put here as a dot lot, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, it's maintained, but I'm probably the only person to have parked in here in 3 years. I don't know. Like I say, I drive by here all the time. I never see anybody here. But anyways, that's where we are. I'm going to put you on the dashboard and we'll cruise on down through Grand Rapids for a little while. If I time out here, I'll splice it together again. So, come along for the ride in old Bessie. And she's got enough gas in her to get there and back. So I'm putting you on the dash. Okie dokie. Okay, we are now waiting for traffic. Okay, here we go. We are now eastbound on North Park. Seat up the bus. We are technically in Comstock Park right now. Now coming up, of course we're crossing underneath the 131 Expressway. But coming up is the North Park Bridge. This bridge is, I'm not sure, but the original bridge was a very narrow, two-lane bridge. Kind of like the 6th Street Bridge, which maybe I'll take you across that one later. But yeah, it used to be a narrow two-lane. Crossing the Grand River right now, and when they had, years ago, they had the raft races back in the 70s. WLAV, the local rock and roll station, and they're still here, they put on the raft races, and oh my gosh, did we have fun. We'd come down here to Riverside Park, launch the rafts that we built. And it wasn't so much about racing as it was about having fun and being judged for how creative your raft was. I'm trying to remember what year that I participated. I was the captain. We built a raft. I was living at an apartment complex at the time. In fact, I was the maintenance manager there. But myself and a few of the residents and some of my employees, we spent a couple weeks. We built a raft that looked like the building that I lived in. Alpine Slopes Apartments, and they're still there, but they were kind of unique back in the 70s. They had kind of a, how would you call it, kind of a German, Norwegian, Swedish, whatever you want to call it, kind of look to of the buildings. They, you know, had that fancy woodwork, and they had turrets on the corners. And the apartments that had the turret part was actually the master bedroom for each of the apartments, you know, level by level, and they were round. So one of the displays, you know, for come look at this apartment and see if you'd like to rent one like it, one of the display units actually had a round bed. I had never seen one until the 70s. I didn't think they existed other than in Playboy magazine. Anyways, by the way, we're going to along by Riverside Park. We are now southbound on Monroe. Anyways, yeah, back to the raft race. We got honorable mention, and I spent most of my time with a life jacket on in the river, because as soon as we launched, my crew members, God bless them, they threw me in the river. But they were nice enough to toss me a beer every now and then, so I floated down the river by myself, watching my raft follow me. Anyways, it was fun. But back to the North Park Bridge, kind of got ahead of myself there. Back to the North Park Bridge. Our raft was so big, it was in 3 sections. We had it on a wide construction trailer. We had to put banners on it, oversized load. And when we got to North Park Bridge, they had to close it so that we could get across. Because we were oversized. And of course they had to close it on our way back. And I don't know, you know, back in the 70s, there wasn't anybody sober on this trip, going or coming. But no one got arrested, so all good. Okay, we just crossed Ann Street. We're still on Monroe. Our next intersection is going to be Leonard. Say feet up, good luck here, because we're going underneath the railroad tracks. There's the waterworks building. We should do a tour there someday. In fact, there's a lot of buildings around here that would be kind of fun to do some YouTube videos about and give the history. 1345, I used to work there. Yeah. We had some offices and a couple laboratories there. And our maintenance department was there for a while in a big garage area. Our off-site maintenance. Anyways. Okay, we are now getting ready to cross Leonard. Just so you know, we are on the east side of the Grand River right now. And the Grand River flows right straight through Grand Rapids. And Grand Rapids is just amazing how much it's changed and growing in the last 20 years. Almost all the time you see more and more of the big cranes, you know, they're putting up high-rises, you know, offices, apartments, condos. just heard of one the other day. I think it'll be the tallest once it's completed in a year or two. 24 stories. But yeah, the skyline has changed a lot, and it continues. It just keeps getting taller and taller and wider. There, you know, even where I live, Sparta, as I've said before, Sparta is 15 miles north of where we are right now, 14 miles. And Sparta's growing because Grand Rapids is growing. More and more people are moving into Grand Rapids, you know, for their jobs, their careers, and they need somewhere to live. A lot of them start out when they're young in apartments, and then eventually they, you know, start having children, they have more money, and they find a place in the suburbs. And that would include Sparta. Sparta, Rockford, Cedar Springs, all up my way. Then south, you know, Kentwood and Wyoming, Hudsonville. All those areas are growing by leaps and bounds. Lowell, Ada, to the east, growing, growing, growing. It's pretty incredible. Okay, I should have turned on Mason, but I think I can turn on Newberry. And that's what I'm going to do. Turn on Newberry, and we're going to try to remember to come back this way and turn on Newberry. If we can remember. Division. Not many people know it, but you can get on Division, and basically Division will take you all the way to Kalamazoo, which is, I think, 40 miles south of here. I never actually take, most people take the expressway, but guess what, you take the Division all the way to Kalamazoo. I think you can go even further south on Division. Even though there's different counties, they still call it Division. Okay, we're going underneath the Medical Mile right here, Michigan Street. Health Medical Mile. Spectrum Health is just, they're everywhere. Originally, Butterworth Hospital was the main hospital right there on Michigan Street. But eventually, starting in 1999, I think it was, when actually, it was 2001. 2001 is when Spectrum Health came about, and they have since merged or absorbed many of the hospitals in the area, many of the medical groups in the area. You know, you see Spectrum Health sign on many, many locations now. Pretty interesting, and it's growing. It's like, wow. So we are almost to the middle of Grand Rapids. We're at Fountain Street right now, and we're coming up on Monroe, more or less Monroe. When I was a kid, we lived out in Hudsonville, out in the country back then. around Thanksgiving, when I was a little kid, my dad and my mom would take me down here, and we would stand a little bit to the west of us on the corner of Monroe and Lion Street and watch the Santa Claus parade. We were by the Wurzburgs. That was a big department store, a very famous department store, now long gone. And then there was Steckety's, that was another one, another department store downtown. And there were all kinds of businesses downtown, you know. So this was in the 50s and early 60s. Well, in the movie The Polar Express, with what's his name, was it Tom Hanks, there is a portion of where they show the Polar Express going through a city. Well, guess what city? Grand Rapids. Guess what corner they went by? Where I used to watch the Santa Claus parade. One of these days I'm going to take a walking tour and film where the Polar Express was based on, and then try to find some old pictures from back in the day, 50s, 60s, with what it looked like, and then compare that to what it was in the Polar Express. And I'll tell you what, by my memory, it's very accurate. You know, it was cartoonish, but it was accurate. Okay, we are continuing southbound on Division. We got, I don't know, 3 miles yet to go, I think, before we get to Godwin Hardware. Once this camera runs for 23 minutes and then it shuts off, but I can quick resume it. I've learned how to do that, so maybe I think I'll still pause it. And then, you know, because I don't know if anybody's getting bored. You can always skip it, you know, you don't have to watch everything if it's boring. You can give it a thumbs down if you want. But several of my commenters, my fans, my friends said, we love driving around with you in that noisy old truck. Okay, uh-oh. My lanyard might have been clicking. I see it moved. Alright. Let's see if that fixes it. Uh-oh, I ran her light. Kind of, sort of. There used to be all kinds of buildings down here, and there's a few yet. But back in the 1960s, we had, unfortunately, race riots.